You're watching Single Process with Joe and Bob. We've created this video series to help you navigate through the difficult process of divorce. We hope this helps you on your journey. Our episode today is on how and when to tell the kids that you're getting divorced. Bob, for me, this was the thing I dreaded the most, and I agonized over it. I couldn't bear the thought of breaking the news to them.
I mean, this is really the impetus of why we wanted to do this video series in part. And I wouldn't say I stressed over this one, but I would say it concerned me that my kids were such different ages, because I've got two older ones and then two younger ones, you know, and how to.
And did you told them all together?
Yeah, we told them all together. I mean, it wasn't right. We definitely went off script.
I think there are better ways to do this,
Yes.
and I think if you have a bit of understanding as to the timing, I think it really helps. So I am beyond thrilled to have Maud Purcell here with us today. She's a seasoned psychotherapist who founded the Life Solutions Center, a unique consortium of independent businesses designed to treat the entire whole person. She also writes a regular column for the Hearst newspapers and speaks all over the world on the subject. Maud, we're thrilled to have you here today.
Thanks, I'm delighted to be here.
So tell us, what is the right way to do this? When do you tell the kids? Do you tell them the day you decide or closer to the time of the actual divorce? What's the plan?
Well, I think if you start with what the goal is, that will be your best guide. And the goal really is to leave your children feeling as comfortable and as positive as one can feel when their entire life is going to change.
Yeah.
So that really has to be your kind of your leading goal, your concept, the thing that you're working toward. What you say to the kids depends on their ages.
Okay, so Bob has two older and two younger. Tell us what you'd say.
And I'll lead into this by saying I think they already knew way more.
Exactly.
Than I assumed
is that
they did.
typical?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is typical.
I thought we were so secretive and careful about it. Okay.
Your kids watch your every move, whether you know it or not. So they already know, they've already picked up on the tension. Think about it, they rely on you for their existence. Mm-hmm. That's the way they see it. So if you're not okay, they're very tuned into that, whether they tell you or not. So by the time you let them know that you and your partner are divorcing, they already know something is wrong.
Okay. And
So back to what you were saying.
Yeah.
If they're older, what's the...
what's older, by the way?
It might be easier if we begin with younger.
Okay.
Because the basic concepts remain the same. It's just a simpler conversation with younger children.
Okay.
So I think if we start there, younger, I would say anywhere between 3 or 4 and 6.
Okay.
It has to be very, very simple for them. Maybe as old as 8, depending on the maturity of your child.
Okay.
And the problem with this whole topic is it's not a one-size-fits-all. You have to know your children.
Yeah.
So I'm giving you some general guidelines.
Terrific.
But I think with younger children, you want to let them know, first and foremost, that you love them and that never changes no matter what happens. But that sometimes parents figure out that they can parent better if they're living separately.
Okay.
And that you, the two of you, you and your partner, have recognized that you're not doing as good a job as you would like at parenting, living under the same roof.
Okay.
So things are going to change. There will be 2 households. But the transition is going to be as smooth as you can possibly make it for them. They will have time with both parents. And in fact, the parents might work better together than they have in the past because some of the tension between them will be cut down and things may run much more smoothly for them.
Spin it as a positive for the
Maud,
kids.
it doesn't sound like you're saying we're getting divorced. It sounds like you just focus on we're going to set up 2 households and really prioritize parenting you guys and spending our time with you. It doesn't sound like the focus is on the actual divorce at this point.
Well, with little children, they may not understand what that means, or if they've heard the word, it might frighten them. So I don't think you have to launch right into that at that point.
Do you use the word divorce?
Yes.
With young and old, in general,
Yes.
you should call it what it is.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, but when you're beginning this conversation with young children and you throw out the word divorce, since it's an incendiary word in our culture and their little buddies, parents may have gone through it, it's very scary. So I don't think I would start with that word.
Okay.
I would talk more about what it's going to look like, what their lives will look like.
Okay.
You want to let them know that this change has nothing to do with them, that it's really between the two of you as parents. They're wonderful children, and you plan to make their lives as much the same as you can possibly make it. If you can actually help them to believe that it could be a little bit of an adventure so that the whole thing isn't terrifying, that's
and
not
my kids always say the highlight of the divorce is 2 Christmases, 2 birthdays, and some fun in picking out a new room. It was sort of there's some excitement in creating a new home. It's not the same, but it
you
could
alluded
be.
to the perception. I think most kids hear that word and it holds a very negative connotation.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
okay.
So I think it's better to not use that word right at the beginning of the conversation. And with very little kids, they may not quite understand what that means anyway.
So go to older then. What do you tell?
Okay.
So you're into your teens
Sure.
and up.
Now, it's tougher with teens and up because they've developed higher order thinking. And as soon as you start talking about this, so many questions are running through their own heads. They're at a stage where they may be in a relationship themselves, so they know something about relationships. They also will have picked up a lot more than your younger kids in terms of what's
going
wrong.
on.
Yeah.
So you may also say to them that you may be aware that there has been tension between dad and me or mom and me. And we know that's been very difficult for you. And what we're really looking to do is lessen that tension and improve the relationship between your dad and I, or between your mom and I, so that we can be better parents to the two of you. And we believe that by living in separate households, we'll be able to do that.
So let's say we decide to get divorced, but we know because of how long it's going to take to negotiate the whole divorce, and neither of us wants to move out and be away from the kids for now, or relinquish whatever ground we're holding. We know we're going to be living together for another 8 months. Do we tell the kids at day one, or do we tell them just before the separation? It's hard to hide these things. What's your advice?
It is. With very little children, I don't see the value in scaring them about something that's coming up.
Okay.
Because it might change anyway.
That's right. Now, if you've got a mixed household with young and old, it becomes more complicated because you're dealing with 2 different audiences, if you will.
It's complicated getting up in the morning. More or less navigating a divorce.
Absolutely. So if you have the good fortune of just having young kids, I wouldn't say anything to them until you absolutely have to. Until one of you is moving out, you as the adult, or if one of you is going to a separate bedroom, even then you may be able to, for the time being, say it's because somebody snores or whatever it is.
What happens when it goes awry? And does it do untold damage to the kids, or does it not really matter if you go forward from there with the right message?
It's better to plan in advance to hold your emotions in check. So let me just start with that it's better if one parent does the talking.
Oh, okay.
So that it's because
And not a mixed
if you
message.
get into a banter, right, it can be a mixed message. Also, there's more chance of somebody getting upset. So if parents should be planful about this, they should talk about it in advance. The person who can best deliver the message without falling apart should deliver the message. The other parent should nod and back them up, and the kids need to believe that both parents have agreed to this, that they both
same
believe it's
page.
better. And that's hard because that's usually not the case.
That's not.
not.
If Daddy says, "Yeah, Mommy wanted this," I did
Right.
not.
And that's going off script.
Yeah,
That's going way off
I can give you
script.
so many examples of off script from
All right,
the
so-
stories we've heard.
So let's say we've told them now, Maud, and the reactions vary. I mean, if I look at my situation, my kids had almost diametrically opposed reactions.
Right.
Sometimes they're very quiet, very tearful,
Right.
want to retreat to their room. Sometimes there's an outburst of anger or frustration. What is the best, immediately
the
after
reactions.
delivering the news, how do you manage the reaction? What are your thoughts on that?
It may take a little more talking to calm the upset one down and assure them that they may actually see more of each parent than they have. I find that's often the case
Yep.
because they're spending individual time with them.
Right.
And that you will work to keep their activities and their schedules as much the same as you possibly can. that although it sounds frightening because it's unknown, that the two of you as parents are fine. They need to know that. That's a key thing. They need to believe you're okay.
Yeah.
If they believe you're okay, then they will get over their upset and they'll get on with things.
Okay.
And a really great thing to do is to plan to do something together right afterwards.
The whole
The whole family. So
really?
they see that you can work together. Order a pizza. I know.
I don't like
Look
it,
at that
Mom.
face.
I mean, you're sprinting to the finish line. Now you got to go out to dinner as a family.
You can order a pizza and watch a movie.
Okay,
You don't
okay.
have to talk. But something that shows them that this isn't this
Yeah.
line
Finality.
of
That's a good point.
demarcation
It's a little
and
fluid.
it's over.
We're moving in this direction
Right.
now, but
we're
we're fluid.
moving in this direction,
Okay.
but we can still get along. We can still talk to one another, and we can live like normal people.
So now, this is kind of funny, but not really. I mean, my older kids wanted to run out and tell everyone that
Yeah.
our parents are getting divorced now. Do you suggest that this then becomes a public disclosure, or do you say keep it private, keep it within the family? What would you suggest the kids do with that information?
If it's going to make them feel better to talk to their friends about
Okay.
it, I think you may need to let them go with that because they need to deal with it in the best way they can. But there's another step here that I think can be very helpful. If you as parents can get ahead of the message, it helps you and it helps the kids. And here's what I mean, and I've suggested this to couples because they'll often ask me, what do we tell our friends?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I'll say, you can really take all the mystery and the questions out of this. Send an email out that you've jointly crafted.
Well, this is like we as a family
That's right.
are letting you know
That's right.
that this is what's going on, and
Yeah.
so that nobody's feeling like they have to choose sides or hearing
great.
it from
Exactly.
one person or the other.
Exactly.
right?
And you're saying you don't give them information. You're simply saying, we would like you to know that we've made a decision that we will be better parents. It can be similar, living separately. And we want to share this news with you. We respect each other and we're going to work together well as parents, but we wanted you to know, we wanted you to hear it directly from us because your friendship means a
I
lot to
would
us.
receive that so well if it came from someone. I really would.
I think that's a tough thing for couples to do because I think it's usually pretty unbalanced, and you might, someone's gonna have to take
But
the
if you
high road.
could, I mean, for your kids,
Totally.
right? Let me just say
Again,
again,
you're putting the kids first.
put the
Yeah.
kids first.
Put the kids first, right?
Always.
Grow up. You put the kids first.
And if you will do that, if you will put the kids first truly, even if you have to do an Oscar-winning performance, then you will say and do the right things. You will hold it together for the most part. If the kids see you cry, it's okay, as long as you say, you know what, I'm fine. This is just, it's a change for all of us, and we love you so much. And it's hard to deliver the message, but we are both fine. We're all going to be fine. And in fact, I think things will be less tense and we'll all get along better.
I think
I
that
love
is
it.
just terrific advice. Maud, we are going to have you back so many times because you are just a wealth of information and resources.
I'm gonna have you come
you.
tell my kids about the divorce.
I'll be happy to.
Thank you, Maude.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much, Maud.
So for this and more information, you can log on to our website at singleprocess.me. Thanks.